We are here at AirVenture Oshkosh, the last day of the show. Got a lot of tired exhibitors, but a lot of broad smiles as well because it's been busy here. A lot of good things have happened this week. A lot of orders have been placed, and that's what keeps aviation alive and vibrant. We're talking today with Chuck Wiblinger. I'm Dan Johnson, and I know a few things about this company, Wipline, because in my many years with BRS Parachutes, we were literally right across the tarmac from a company that has made floats for more airplanes than I can count. Can you count them, Chuck?
Definitely not on my fingers and toes.
I think you told us 10,000 airplanes are flying around with Wipline floats on them?
Somewhere's in that vicinity last time we tried to count. It's a bit difficult going through the historical records trying to figure out exactly how many, but old records get lost and beat up, but somewhere's in that range. Yes.
Sure, oh yeah, we go way back before computers because when was Wipline organized?
Wipline was founded around the early 1960s. Grandpa started working on floats and building his own set and tinkering around, and by the mid-60s I believe he was certified and selling his first models on 180s, 185s.
So that's a long time. That's over 50 years you guys have been in business doing floats. They're located in South St. Paul, Minnesota, and have several facilities there, plus one down on the river as well.
Correct.
That we've gotten to use a few times down there thanks to their generosity. So a lot of storied history. We're going to go down to the smallest, but what's the biggest airplane that you've ever put floats on?
The biggest float that we produce today is a 13,000 float for the de Havilland, or now the Viking Twin Otter. It is still current production, and we're producing them at least every couple months. We'll make one of those. So.
Standing right now at back of us here are the new floats that you just introduced here at this year's Oshkosh.
Right.
Tell us just a little bit about what we've got here.
This is the Wipline 1450 float. It is our model for the LSA market and light aircraft. It comes in at 225 pounds on the heavy end, we hope. We're hoping to narrow that down a little further, but we'll see what happens in the testing when we get back to the office.
Now, when you say that weight here, we want to emphasize that these are amphibious floats, so they're not, you sort of can't see it from this angle. We'll go around and have a closer look here in a minute, but these floats are going to be available for a variety of the LSA?
Yes, I hope so. We have a program defined to encourage LSA manufacturers to certify our product under their airplanes.
Sure, you know this all happens under the ASTM process, which means Wipline has got to do some work, but then you have to coordinate with the manufacturer because it becomes a package and they've got to do some work.
Very close.
It's not too detailed and difficult to do, so I'll bet you we'll start to see some of these floats pretty soon.
Yep.
When are you thinking you'll enter production? Have you got any more testing to do before you can go to production?
Yes, we do actually have to go back and do our own ASTM testing on these yet. We started this project 3 months ago.
Oh, really?
At the end of
Wow.
Fun. We decided that we had a few ideas. I had some employees that had some time, and a group of about 12 guys that worked for me went to town and developed this product that you see here today. Everything's pretty well nailed down. We got a few things we're still playing with, deck covers, water rudders. You'll see some fairly different water rudders on these sets of floats.
Okay, but, this is just a prototype. That's what it says here, so you're being honest about it.
There's a few things that we're going to play with here a little more, but we're hoping in the next month and a half to have all the STM testing out of the way and hopefully delivering to some manufacturers that would like to certify them under their aircraft.
And then they can go out and do some exploration for that. And so for those of us lucky enough to live in the South, we'll be able to use Wipline floats later this year. For the folks that live in the North, it'll be next season before they really start to play with them.
For sure, Q1 of next year is my goal, to make sure that we're going to customers with these. So.
Excellent. Well,
what type of construction is used in the floats?
Excellent point. What are you doing? They're beautiful. They're just as lovely as all the ones, but what are we making these out of, Chuck?
These right here are aluminum. Wipaire has historically used aluminum for their products. We are developing a composite line as well, but for the purpose of this, we wanted to be quick at developing it. We wanted to be light. We wanted to be familiar with it, so we just decided, well, we're going to do an aluminum one for now.
How many bulkheads are you using in the float?
Right now, there are 4 chambers, watertight chambers inside each hull.
How about, is there a universal mounting plate built into it for different applications?
What we intend to do is we will get enough information, data from the manufacturers to cut strength, struts, proper lengths, and proper fittings, And so we will provide struts down for each manufacturer.
So you're going to go kind of customize manufacturer by manufacturer to make them strong where they need to be, and provide the mounting parts to go to the airplane?
Once you get down to the deck of the float, it's all universal for all the, it'll be all universal.
Okay.
So it's just going to be the struts that...
From the top of the floats up is the part that you still got to do engineering with each manufacturer that selects
and that'll
it.
be specific to each manufacturer.
Well, now we're looking at the actual mechanism to see how this will operate. We'll show you exactly where the wheels go and so forth, but how are we operating this here?
It's basically a very simple closed loop cable driven system, and basically it's just flipping the handle from one side to the other to retract and extend the gear. So you just give it a nice little tug and the gear comes up and locks into place. There's a positive up lock to keep the gear up in case the cable breaks, and you release it down and push it into the lock position, and again the gear locks down, so if the cable breaks your gear stays where it's supposed to.
Now, is this going to be in the cabin, hydraulically operated, air operated? How do you operate it?
This will be in the cabin. It'll be a lever very similar to what you see here, running all 4 gears, so it's just a simple
So
manual.
basically this handle inside the cockpit is what's going to do the job.
Correct.
The cockpit, you got a similar handle. When you're doing this, you're not working at this very hard. You got a mechanical advantage in there?
Yep, there is some mechanical advantage built in there, and we will tweak it. Obviously, this for display purposes is only running the front and the main, but as we finalize the design, if we need a little more mechanical advantage, we can build it in. It should be a fairly effortless gear mechanism to run.
Great. You've got some real nice surface on here right now that to my hand feels quite skid resistant. Tell us what we've got on here now, what you're thinking about for possibilities.
Right now, what's on this prototype set of floats is our typical non-skid, basically a paint and sand type mixture.
Okay, this is what you do commonly on your
This is what we do commonly. We're looking at another few variants of non-skid that you can buy commercially, used on sailboats and in the boating industry.
They have the same need then, they don't want to fall over.
It's very light, paints on easily, and we're looking at a few options there as well.
What are you planning on for some storage that's common in floats?
We will have a couple storage compartments here. Generally where the retract handle is right now for the demonstration purposes, where our baggage compartments will be.
Okay.
And we have a little leeway yet to play with size and for end use.
Great. Well, okay, we've given a little bit of information here, but you've said this is just a prototype, and we recognize that. You're going to go back and do some more testing. Hope to get on the market next year, early 2013.
Yep.
And if all things go well, of course, we'll cut some slack on that. But in the meantime, where can we go to find out more about Wipline Floats and Wipaire, the company?
You can log on to our website at www.wipaire.com.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for talking to us today. Chuck Wiplinger from the Wiplinger family that has always run this company, I believe. And we'll have more about the work that the Wipline Floats will announce here as the testing development goes on. I'll have that on my website at bydanjohnson.com or bydanjohnson.com. Thanks a lot for joining us today.